There's always something. I always seem to. I had turned down the volume on the speaker and didn't think that it would send that to the internet. Good thing it was just music and nothing else. Yeah, DDC, I got this one today actually. So now the question so someone answer in chat, have you heard anything of what I've said, or should I begin from the beginning? That's the first. So I'm waiting for you to answer. There's a delay of about 30 seconds, so while we wait, I'll start soldering, and then I can come back and explain maybe what I did. Interesting that the volume, that whatever I play on the computer is playing in the stream. That's interesting to know. Begin again. Someone said begin again, so I'll begin again. Right. Hello. So what I've done is I've ordered a bunch of PCBs from JLC PCB, and I won't go through them all today because that will spoil some of the future episodes' fun. Have to be a secret until then. But so what I've done is from JLC PCB I've ordered these and a lot of others. And so this is the front panel and this is the PCB behind it. And it's all PCBs. So this is a PCB panel. It goes outside the 10 by 10 format, so it's a bit more expensive. I think this cost $7 for 10 of these instead of 5, so not overly priced as such. So and this is stiff. I mean, if you compare to my other panels that I usually use that I need to reinforce, these are really stiff. I mean, these are, so these need stiffening, and these are really quite, it's good. It's PCBs. And the black matte design I think is wonderful. So what this is, the design choice is that it's a matte black finish and then white silk screen, of course, and then I have exposed copper traces. So I did copper traces in a pattern and exposed the copper to get the silver effect as well. And there's actually, you can't see that, but there is actually one little round thing there that is, I don't know if it's exposed copper or just removed, that there's no silk screen there, which means that it's gray instead. So one could say I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors to play with, even though the fourth one is really, you can kind of see it there. Yeah. And the thing I said with the ThonkyCon, now I need to take those out again. So the ThonkyCon thing is, they are standard for everything, and they have these pins down like that, so you can place them on here. But I made the holes way bigger than they need to, so I could use these really cheap ones from LCSC that has this loop to put a wire in instead. And I can use those, so you can use any. You need a lot of solder though, because the holes are a bit too wide, so maybe I think I need to fix that. And also this the ground pin isn't connected down like the pin on the Thonkicon. So I need to add another pin there. And also these really nice Alps pots. They're really smooth, but also very cheap actually on LCSC. And I have dry fitted it already, so I know it works because I just eyeballed this one over this one to make the panel. So I'm happy it worked out. I hope it works when I've soldered it together as well. Cheers. So now then, let's solder something. And if I'm going to make this available somewhere, maybe, yes, if I will, if it works. And I'm guessing there will be a few kinks. So I'm gonna iron those out, and then I'll try to make it available as a cheap alternative to all the other ones. Hopefully this will be quite quick to solder as well. I'm just going to start somewhere. I'm going to start down here. So there's C1 and C2. That's that one and that one. So I didn't have 27 picofarad, which these should be. So I just took 22. And I hope that will work. Where's my... And if I go a bit quiet, that's because I'm concentrating and I can't do two things at a time. I have this. Here's my makeshift solder suction at the moment, because the one I usually have there with a vacuum cleaner in the other part of the studio, the vacuum cleaner broke and almost burned up on me, so that's why I'm using this one. So this is not as loud though, so it's good in that regard. And then we need like loads of 10K resistors. And which side? It doesn't matter, we'll put it on this side. Can you ever have enough of anything, really? No, you can't. I figure that out all the time. So I run out of mixers, and I'm doing this. And then when I fix this, I'm going to run. I've actually run out of everything. I know I don't have enough VCOs. I know I don't have enough VCAs. I do have enough filters for the moment, but that's because I don't have as many VCOs and VCAs, so I can't use as many. But so yeah, I agree. You can't. Isn't that part of the modular paradox? Just one more. Just one more. It's like a drug. These could be a bit bigger. I can't fit they need to rise a bit on the ends. Come on. Pushed it down too far. I burned my finger. Oh well. That'll do. And that one. Done. I need to lift this one up a bit. There. And again, I'm sorry if I don't answer the comments, because I'm gonna switch around the windows here a bit so I can see them easier. Gas, yes, gas. DDC about buying from LCSC. I don't know if you have the same problem in Italy as in Sweden, because the Swedish government slash postal office has put on so huge fees that it's practically like buying cheap from eBay, like one small packet a time, like I used to, isn't working anymore. So now I need to buy everything in bulk just to make it for it to be reasonable to buy anything, and that's why I've started to buy from LCSC and stuff like that, because that way you can buy much and ship with a shipping company that pays all the fees for you and stuff like that. So we have to pay $8 just if we buy a package for $1 including shipping. We still need to pay $8 to just get it into Sweden. So it's a bit weird. 10KR2. We don't have any diodes here, so it won't be R2D2. Ho ho ho. I love Star Wars, and I have a friend who says I have to see The Mandalorian. It's supposed to be really great if you like Star Wars. I don't know. I take his word for it, so. But I haven't seen it yet, so no spoilers, please. I have one of these, let's use it. I do not like the new YouTube live streaming thing. It's too big for my screen, so I can't see all your comments. Oh yeah, same in Norway. Yeah, I'm guessing it's coming everywhere. Someone needs to pay for all the cheap shipping from China, I guess. Panic ordered in the last 4 weeks, yeah. Here in the Netherlands, we seem to only pay duties on stuff ordered from the US. Yeah, so that then the Netherlands is like Sweden was before. We only used to have to pay for stuff from the US, and they kind of didn't care about all the small things that came from China. But now that is changed. 100 ohm R6. Solder components on the top side. Yes, on all the, when you buy through hole or two-sided PCBs and they're through plated, it actually doesn't matter if you solder on the top side or the bottom side. I learned that somewhere, and that's why it's like, then you don't need to. So some components that you can solder on the top side instead of the bottom side, I do that because then you don't need to worry about the things falling out. So yeah, but you can, so these are through plated, so you can solder them on any side. At least that's what I do, and I do that with my proto boards. I do that all the time as well. So because they're through plate, you can see that on these boards that they're shining all the way through. That means that there's contact between the top and bottom parts. So doesn't matter where you solder them, I think. That was 100 ohms and then a 1K. That's that one. Let's take that one from the bottom side then, just for the sake of it. Let's see. I mean, you're reading the comments, DDC. I find it a bit strange because, yeah, I know. Top side, bottom side, I don't care, as long as it works. Gonna find a socket for the IC. Solder that in place. Did I put that the right way? Yes, I did. Right, so C3, that's a 10 microfarad, plus that way. Some of the capacitors is so small, so Now I need to do this tedious work of actually just solder a leg onto each of these. Because I'm cheap and don't buy Thunkicons. Therapy work. Does it work if I... It might work, let's see. Or will I drop it? It works, but it gets very bent. Yeah, as long as it works with such engineering noise. Be the destroyer. Ah, that's great. I hope you make a modular... Mousetrap. I hope you make a modular Be the Destroyer. And please, if you do, I'd love to hear it and see it. So just share it on any of my videos or my channel or whatever. It's always fun to see all the stuff people make. If it's things that I've inspired or anything else, it's always fun. If it's not something I've inspired, it's also good, because then I can get inspired by that to make even more modules. Because you can't have enough modules. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 2 more. Ah. There. All right, so let's populate these. Thanks, guys. It's nice to know that it's appreciated. I thought I need to do some kind of live or whatever, to just so you all can show your creations that you've made as well. So I know you're not supposed to solder these in place until everything is done, but I'm just going to solder the ground pin together, because I think that will just hold them in place. No, I can't do that. I can't do that, because then they will, or will they? Can I? I can't. I can't do that. So let's do that. Just to hold it somewhat in place, because when the pots get in, they're so high, so it's kind of, oh, that's hard to get to. The pots are so high, so it will be difficult to keep the jacks in place, I think. So now they're in place, but I can still move them around. So now, let's put the pots in. I love when they just click into place. Best sound. Like so. And the power connector. So I bought loads and loads and loads of power connectors because that is going to be the next episode about power. So I can either use one of these with a housing and 5 pins, which works if you have cables that goes from the big 16 pin to a small 10 pin, like so. This one is actually a 12 pin. Here's a 5 pin. Is it? No, that's also a 6 pin. Whatever. But so that won't work. And anyway, if you have one of these in both ends, like this one, then it definitely does not work. So let's find the other one I bought. So here it is without the housing, but 6 pins again. I'll explain this in the next video, but I'll explain it here quickly. And that's because on the latest version of the proto board, I added one more row to get 5 volts as well. So by adding one more row, like so, I can then have this small area here where I can route if I want 5 volts or 12 volts. And with this, it works with any kind of so it works even if you have a 16 pin connector. Does it work with a 5 pin connector? I don't have a 5 pin connector. But let's let's find. More. Oh jeez, I bought so many of these. As I said, I buy in bulk now. So here's a 5 pin connector without the housing. So same size, but without the housing, so we can use any cable to connect to it. Sorry, gonna read some comments. JLC PCB, yes, PCP. Well, not them, but PCB. That's where these comes from. JLC PCB. And I'm like DDC. I can't recommend them enough. They're really great. I'm going to try their. They actually have a SMD service now, so they even populate your surface mount components for you if you want to, and that seems to be very cheap as well. I tried there was another service I tried a while back, but which said it was going to be cheap, but in the end it turned out quite expensive. So that will be interesting to see if JLC PCB actually can be cheap in the end. But I haven't done that yet, so I don't know. Yeah, Stephen, I know you. I think we talked shortly about power cables. Hopefully I'll have that for next week. I can show. So here's a spoiler alert for also this. Here I also bought these from JLC PCB. Easiest design ever. You just loads of these 16 pin jacks, and this was to keep it within the 10 by 10 centimeters, and that way you would get almost a full rack of power connectors like this for and you buy 5 of these for $2, and then you would have loads of power for your modular. I'll go more into depth about that, but so always trying to find cheaper ways to do it, I guess. All right, so now we have the power as well. Now and then you're supposed to put these in place, so like so. So it stays in place. Looks buffered, Chent. It's just one buffer for all of them. The buffered mixer I did, the one that I called buffered, was a separate buffer for all the inputs. So that's why I called it a buffered mixer, and that was because the first modules I built didn't have a buffer on the outputs, so then they behaved really strange when put in and interacted with each other when put into a non-input buffered mixer. So that's why the two different. I don't call this one buffered because it's just the output which is buffered, not the inputs. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe this one is called buffered mixer as well. You're not clear enough, DDC. They misunderstand you. Stupidly tiny packages. I did a live stream the other day for my Patreons which I actually failed doing. I forgot to press the play or the start streaming button, but then because one thing, I bought the smallest one, and it's like a grain of sand that I thought I could use to solder on these two solder points here to make the coupling caps directly on here, so you could even have it under the IC, but that wasn't aired because I forgot to press play. Alright, so we should probably make sure that they all run free. Don't hit. Yeah, that feels quite good, I think. Feels nice touching the knobs. Okay, so there's a huge gap here. I really need to fix this gap because this is gonna take a lot of solder to 1603. How small are they? Because that's not millimeters, right? I thought they're 0203 or something, isn't it? That's the really small ones. Or is 06003 the smallest one? I'm asking DDC in the comments. Soon done with the jacks. There, and then the pots. There. I'm gonna leave the legs of most of the legs of the jacks because they're really hard to get to cut off. Not hard to get to, but they're hard to cut off, so don't think it will matter too much. .6 millimeters by 0.3 millimeters. Whew! Yeah, 0603. Yeah, that's true. So, grain of salt almost. Let me find the one I had. Actually, I saw it. So these are 0402. So these are even smaller than 0603. But I would say that these would probably be almost impossible to solder by hand. So this is a 100 nanofarad capacitor, and I don't know if you can see it, but it is right there on my finger. If I put it, it's just a speck. It really is. Like a bag of these would just look like sand to most people, I think. Try to get it back in here. Even with the tweezers, it's so small. I got it. So anyway, what I had in mind is when you have an IC and you want to decouple the power outputs, you take this on the back side of the plus and minus pins, you place it there, and instead of just soldering the two pads together, you put the cap in between and you decouple to ground. No! Oh no, I lost one. That's 0.000 cents or something. Right, do we dare to try this out? I'm gonna move you. Turn the fan off. Let's see. I have one of these that I can maybe connect. Sorry for the shaking. I'm soon done, I hope. Yeah, they're so tiny. That's why we want JLC PCB to put them on for us, right? Yeah, that wouldn't be very good to eat them, I think. All right, so I was a bit worried that this ledge down here was going to be too close, but I did try that before, and it's actually on the ledge, so I need to move that up. I need to move the whole all the components up a bit, so this ledge isn't as far down, and I think there's lots of room on top, so I can just move all the design on the front panel up a bit, and that should work. All right, so I have a power bus here on the back. Whoo! Drum roll, please. Let's see, that should be the correct way. Should be something like that. Let's turn the power off. I don't like these things. All right. We hang it like so. Oh, I don't have the op amp. I need the op amp. We can try it without the op amp first. So no magic smoke from the caps, that's good. And now, what IC do I use? Is it a 358 or a TL072? I just need to check that, sorry. I think it's a TL072. But I want to be really on the safe side. That's not it. That's not it at all. TL072. I was looking at the wrong component. That's why. TL072, and it should right, so that one is in place. Yeah. Okay. We keep it on a few seconds. Turn it off. Just gonna see. I don't burn my fingers, so then it should be good. Turn it on again, and we connect it to the mixer. I have a few sounds here playing in the background. So they keep playing. I'm just gonna alright, so an awful hum. I don't like that. That could be another reason. That could be a ground thing. Shouldn't be, but it could be. Let's connect this one in here. Okay, so the pots are turned the wrong way, so this is no volume all the way clockwise and then counterclockwise. Now I have volume. So alright, another thing I need to fix. Good to know. I should write all these things down. I need to watch this stream later on just to figure out what I did wrong. All the things I've said that I didn't write down. But oh wow, that was the bass drum was really distorted quickly on. Is it just that channel or is it all the channels? It was okay. No, it's all channels. Yeah, I seem to like that. That's like, it's almost like always put the pot the wrong side around. Always. It's more true than not that I do that. So that's almost weirdly often. But I mean, as a mixer, it works great. Except for the wrong turn pots. So I just need to. I could probably cut the traces on this one just to fix it this time. I could not do that, could I? I could do that, but yeah. Guess I'll just order some. Yeah, but why does it distort only on the bass drum? Someone's Panicland says distortion is a feature, not a bug, but why does it do it? And so quickly. It does. Very bassy though. But anyway, I just need to buy a new PCB, I guess, to fix the problem. That would be the easiest way to do. But this means that I can actually let's do this. Now we can connect all the drums. exponential CV. Do we need that? No, we don't need that. Let's connect a few of these at least. I should probably put this in place with some screws. Impedance, could you explain a bit more, DDC, if it could be because of impedance? It could be output gain too high, but then it should be that on all the channels, not the input filters. Yeah, it could. Maybe something like that. Rick Marshall, do you mean this panel that I did today, or do you mean the other panels? Because the other panels is done way differently than this one. Today it was made as a PCB through, as DDC says, just in easy EDA. I just draw it in there and I get the panel out. The other ones are drawn in Inkscape and sent to a guy who laser cuts them and engraves them for me. So that's the two different ways today. Yeah, the others. Then it's laser cut then. What was I going to add? It's nice to have it small, but it gets really fiddly to get in there. But I guess that's also a good thing, because you don't usually use the mixer that much, so you just set the levels and then you kind of leave it alone. Where's the bass drum? The bass. Let's do some different rhythms with Quad Logic. Take that one, and need to split some channels here. I can take that one. Right, let's see. That's okay, so DDC says I should do a frequency sweep on every channel of the mixer to test if you got distortion on the whole bandwidth or only on some of the frequency ranges. Yeah, could be. I mean, this is a DC coupled mixer, I think it's called. I don't have any caps on the input. However, I do have it. Oh yeah, there's two filters over the op amps. That's where the filter is. Maybe that's where I exchanged the 22 picofarad. Maybe I need the correct values there. One thing, one should actually be 27 pico and one should be 47, and I took 222. That could be a problem. Yeah, anyway, I need to, let's move you down again. Right, so there's a few things I need to fix on this, but on a whole, I think that it could be a good budget mixer. I just need to really, as DDC says, I need to check what the problem is in the, if it's a frequency thing or if it's another thing. And maybe before I do that, I need to replace the components I put in with the correct components. So yeah, thank you. This was really fun doing this with you. It is, I try to find a few things that I can do on live online that isn't too complicated, because sometimes I just sit and for hours either, and that might not be as fun when I just sit and solder. And sometimes I sit and solder for 2 minutes and then I need to run away and help my kids with something or do something around the house, and then I come back a few minutes later and continue, and that is really not interesting to watch. So happy that today worked fine as it did. So thank you, and I hope I have a new video out for next week. And yeah, please, I sincerely want to know what you do. So if you make modulars and stuff like that, send me links to videos and stuff. I'd love to see them and hear them. And I'll try to collect a few things. Maybe we can make a modular festival or something where people can show off their stuff. Also, I'm on the Magpie Discord. That's where I hang also, usually in the DIY area, together with DDC, who's also in the chat. So if you want to have any questions like that, you can also find me there. And all over the internet. I mean, the comments in the videos is great, because then it's usually the question is regards to the whatever module, and other people can use that information as well. So that's a good place. Anyway, take care. Bye. Tea. Take care. Bye. Tea.